Welcome back. Marine Corps Captain, Texas A&M Regent, trial lawyer extraordinaire. No question, Houston attorney Tony Buzbee has plenty of notable credentials in his column. Some would say enough for a lifetime. Instead, the East Texas native is looking to trade a long list of high-profile clients for a new one, the citizens of Houston, as their mayor. Tony Buzbee, welcome to the hot seat, man.
Thank you. Good to be here. Thank you.
I'll start off with a fair statement. You have it all. You're at the top of your profession, plenty of possessions, including a tank. Love that. You know, what has compelled you to ask voters to consider you to be the leader of their city?
The people are the city. We got to remember that. If you go to City Hall now and you look at City Hall, that's what it says. But the leadership has somehow forgotten that. I've always been an advocate for people. I've had a lot of success, as you've mentioned. I think it's time that we have somebody in City Hall that's looking out for the citizens, not looking out for their friends, their former business partners, lobbyists who don't register, out-of-town companies who are making millions off our city while our streets remained unrepaired, the drainage remains unsolved. So I think we really need a strong advocate, somebody who's not connected to any particular group. I mean, right before I came to sit down with you, you know, somebody tries to pull you into this partisan baloney. I'm tired of that. I think most people are tired of that. I mean, it makes good, I guess, cocktail conversation, but it has nothing to do with whether your potholes get filled, whether your house gets flooded. What matters are the people, and the City Hall is broken. I mean, we can talk about, you know, from the presidency down to the Congress, to the Senate, but City Hall is broken in Houston, and somebody has to stand up and say, you know, time is now, because we are at a crossroads here in Houston. We could become a Detroit, or we could become the city that we should be. We have a great city. We have a great diverse population. We have great entrepreneurs. We're the energy capital of the country. Why aren't we considered in the conversation of the great cities of the United States? And I'll tell you why. Because our leadership is below average, and we can do better.
All right, this is also a fair question. You are one of the best at making a case in a courtroom, but are you sure you will be equally good at managing and running a city of 3 million people?
Well, this election will come down to probably two things, corruption and competence. Let's talk about both. Corruption. There was a $35 million contract recently approved by the City Council, pushed forward by the mayor. $6.7 million of that monies went to the mayor's former law partner. Now, do the math. I don't have to say one negative thing about this mayor. I only have to lay out the facts. It's pretty clear. We had a contract that was going to be voted on that had to do with the airport. That contract started at $80 million, then it went to $40 million. Now it's at $320 million, and we know who's behind that. We're going to see time and again, there's 4 to 5 of the same people in every city contract, and I'm going to expose that, and I'm going to let the people decide for themselves, is this the kind of city? Because look, it's more than just the mayor getting his, paying off his buddies. It's more than city council paying off friends that they know. It's more than just insiders getting monies. It's more about people from the outside looking in. It's about the individual on his street wondering when that pothole is going to be fixed, but reading in the newspaper that the buddy's mayor or law partner got $6.7 million. We have a legal department that we have almost a $16 million budget, 108 employees. Why did this 4-person law firm get $6.7 million from this contract? So there's corruption, that's one. Competence. We have our firefighters who get paid $10,000 to $12,000 less starting than all the major cities in Texas. They haven't had a raise, they've had a 3% raise in 11 years. The police force, they've had a 37% raise over that same time frame. We used to have parity between the police and the firemen. This mayor is not competent enough to work this budget such that our firefighters get the raises that they deserve. I mean, it's been more than a year. Think about the $1.2 billion of aid that's supposed to come in and help those who are either underinsured or uninsured from Harvey. We're still working with the federal government to figure out how that money gets allocated. That's an issue of competence. And if the mayor wants to say that, well, that's the state, that's the feds, we're going to expose that too. That's an issue of competence.
You have volunteered, offered your services to mediate the ongoing pay parity dispute between the firefighters and the city, one that's been lingering. You know, why did you do that, and what do you hope to accomplish?
I just hope that we could avoid litigation. I mean, we may face another Harvey. Who knows? There may be another Harvey on the horizon. I think most people with common sense would say it's going to happen. Why would we ever pit our firefighters against our police? Why would we do that? The mayor should assign someone to go to the union chief and say, look, sit down and let's work this out. Instead, he asked for $500,000, again from one of his law firms that he used to work with, to litigate, and then to convince the police to file the suit so he could say, well, it's not the city suing the firemen, it's the police suing the firefighters. That's not leadership. That's incompetence. And we're going to spend, as taxpayer money, probably $4 to $5 million in that lawsuit. And that's wrong. During the time of this Prop B, at the time the signatures were being collected, the time it was being put on the ballot. Remember, they had to sue to force the city to put Prop B on the ballot. Think about it this way. Your child is at school and turns in a test. The teacher waits for a year, knowing full well, or at least thinking that the answer is wrong. And then at the end of the school year, when it's all over, calls you and says, oh, just so you know, your child failed that test back a year ago, and I'm just telling you now. This is what the mayor has done. That's an issue of competence. Got to leave it right there. Tony Buzbee, thanks for taking the hot seat. Hope you'll come back. I will be back. Thank you. All right, when we come back, can Texas finally fix its broken system of paying for public education? What Houston's newly elected state senator says should be the top priority during the legislative session to come. Stay with us.